Morning all, how are we all doing? Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, isn't it? I think so. How are we all doing? Morning, Amy, Derp, Ark, Yotko, Franco, JC, Evil, Ian, Mumo, Virginia, Baggy, Michael, Gregors, and Cyril. How are we doing? So, this morning we've had the GDP for the Australian dollar, which came out as forecast. Nothing happened. Usual stuff, no movement. Pretty much day-to-day activity at the moment. Market not going anywhere. Morning, Christian. Morning, Neo. So if you have a look at the Aussie dollar, we had a little bit of a rally. We haven't hit ADR anywhere as yet. Yen's powered up this morning. We'll have a look at that in a sec. So yeah, not a lot of movement off of that news at all. GDP doesn't really tend to do a lot at the moment. It's these are the four leading indicators that the market pays attention to for movement and direction. But this unemployment and GDP at the moment have got a lot less impact than they used to. They used to be much more important. It's all about, as we know, inflation and interest rates at the moment. So if this comes out massively positive or massively negative, it doesn't really affect much at the minute. So it's more of a whipsaw type news event. So as you can see, nothing. And as you can see with the Aussie dollar, US dollar, this is our life at the minute. Trying to scrape an ADR of movement out of something. So yeah, nothing exciting from that respect. Indices this morning, FTSE straight down, just shy of 2R. Nice clean opening range break this morning. DAX is just about to break short. I'm using really low risk on these indices at the moment. I'm hardly even bothering, to be honest. There's just no movement. The FTSE is the only thing that's actually moving at the open. We're getting good initial cash balance movement going in at the open on this, but everything else is just so dead. Everything is dead at the moment. The market is just not moving, as you can see. Yeah, we're just grindy, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's just no direction to anything. Dull. So no break on the DAX as yet. And obviously nice, quick, easy profit on the FTSE this morning. Took it. So we'll go through what's going on with the news. So Australian dollar was a no event, so that came out as expected. This morning we've got PMIs for construction for the UK. These are a lot less important. We don't pay too much attention to construction PMIs anywhere really, but it has got the ability to move the market. If it's a big number, you can kind of just about get an ADR movement out of it, but that's about it. So this afternoon, the main focus of the afternoon is obviously on the Canadian rates later. So this afternoon stream is going to be at 2:30 for the CAD interest rates. So we'll watch what happens there at 2:45. Then the press conference will be at 3:30. So market opens at 2:30 in the US. The US open today, I suspect, will be very, very little movement. So up to you if you want to trade the open on the indices, if you're going to trade the indices, if you are trading the indices. But you're not likely to find a lot of movement because there's no one going to be putting a load of money into stocks before that, because when that comes out, the US dollar is going to pump with the Canadian dollar. So that's going to affect stock prices dramatically, obviously. So 1:15 this afternoon, we've got non-farm employment change, which is the precursor to non-farm payroll on Friday, or the unemployment rate. So there's a big news event at 1:15. So watch your US dollar. Any profit you've got on the table ahead of the US dollar move and the CAD move, you probably want to bank it in case it goes against you. You can always put the trades back on, but you can't get them back. Annual budget for the pound is roughly 12.30-ish today, I think. The budget doesn't affect the pound specifically because it's it's not something, it affects us human beings. It doesn't really affect the price of the pound, a vast amount. We do often get a little bit of whipsawing if there's something unexpected said in there. You know, the Chancellor might drop a conversation he's had with Bailey about what potentially is going to happen to interest rates, for example, or inflation figures that they've seen that we haven't. Yeah, so there's something like that might drop that gets said that will move the pound. But other than that, there's nothing in there that should really impact the pound dramatically, i.e. starting a massive move. We've got Powell, excuse me, speaking at 3 o'clock this afternoon when JOLTS is released, along with the PMIs for the Canadian dollar, and then obviously the press conference. So literally from 1:15 this afternoon, or kind of from 12:30 this afternoon until 3:30 for 3 hours solid, you've got massive market moving events. So there could be huge ADRs put in, there could be huge whipsaws put in, the whole thing might just go flat. Don't know. So it's just basically expect a lot of volatility today. So anything you've got in profit, when you look at your P&Ls, so we've got something affecting the pound this afternoon. We've got something affecting the US dollar and the Canadian dollar this afternoon. So anything that you've got sitting in decent amounts of profit before those news events come out, stick it in the bank, because one of two things is going to happen. If we have a look at my pound yen, for example. So this position up here is in a nice amount of profit down here. If this flies down today and I take the position off before the news, yes, I could have made more money on it. But that position will go into profit anyway. So I'm going to make money on those positions anyway. If this flies up and goes above that high, I lose all of that profit. I can put that back on again though. Yeah. So if you basically take off anything you have in profit ahead of a large news event and the news event goes against you, you've banked that, it's down there, you can spend it and you can add that position on again and wait for it to come down again. Take the trade twice, take the profit twice. Yeah. So just scan through your P&Ls before the news events come out. Anything that's in, you know, don't bank everything. You know, if you got something that's sitting in $20 of profit, you know, it's not worth it. But any decent amount of money, bank it, because you can't get it back. So that's basically today's news. It's going to be a busy one. So I'll be on at 2:30. We'll have a look at what's happened in non-farm. We'll have a look at any impact that we've had from the budget, which I don't think there'll be a massive amount. And then obviously we'll see what happens with the Canadian rates. Now, the Canadian rates aren't going to change. Very unlikely. I mean, if it does, the market is going to have a field day. We'll be looking at 300 ADRs. Nobody is expecting this to change. Nobody. So if they do change it, it's going to be chaos. But it's not going to change. On when we've had expected results in the past, the last New Zealand, for example, the New Zealand dollar dropped a couple of hundred ADR off the news. Yeah. So when we had that as expected New Zealand dollar rate remaining as it is, bang, that's what happened. And then we did nothing. Yeah. Because it's basically the market scaling out of a move it was expecting. So basically the New Zealanders said there is a possibility we might put another 0.25% on, but unlikely. So the market went, oh, it's a 50-50 shot. We'll buy some New Zealand dollar just in case. They decided not to do it, so they scaled out of the long positions. Basically, just took profit on that move. That's all it was. So it's unlikely we would get something like that on the Canadian dollar because the CAD have never said we're moving anything. We are staying as we are, and we are falling in line with the US. We're moving in June. So there's no reason for any movement like that to happen on the Canadian dollar. However, this is the Forex market. It does what the hell it likes. So just be aware that you might get a move. So that's this afternoon. Then into tomorrow, we've got the euro. So it's the same thing tomorrow for the euro. Not expecting any movement. That's 1:15 tomorrow afternoon. Then we've got the press conference, and then we go into non-farm on Friday. So from 1:15 today onwards, chaos. Overnight news, not a lot. So if we scan back to yesterday, there's not an awful lot happened overnight at all. The main news we had was for the Japanese this morning. So there's the Aussie dollar GDP figures, which didn't do anything. But this morning, the Japanese came out and said at the policy meeting, attendees are likely to say that lifting negative interest rates is reasonable. So they've obviously been polling some of the Japanese monetary policy board and saying, what's your sort of thoughts? And they are looking at increasing rates, which is what we keep getting told. So this morning, the US dollar yen went, vroom. Yeah, same as this, vroom. Next, what we're going to do. So I've got an aggressive drawdown control position on the US dollar yen. I think I've got one on the pound yen as well, actually. Yeah, I got one on the pound yen as well. So I'm just going to move that to break even because I don't trust them at all. But yeah, again, it's another we're going to do this type thing. We've had that multiple times where they've said this and then nothing happens and we do a V-shaped recovery the next day. So again, we're back down at this level. We're back down at this balance that we were at previously after the news. We've come and tested it. We bought it back. We tested it. We bought it back. We've tested it. We bought it back. We're testing it again. I don't know. It's either going to or it's not. I'm holding it because I just want to make some money out of it. This yen is just unbelievable at the moment. So I'm going to give it another hour and see if this is a knee-jerk reaction or if we get some continuation on it. So the last time we had a move like this, we pulled back and then we had a continuation. So I'm looking to see if this pullback is going to continue. If it continues, fantastic. If we can get down to these lows, as you can see, I've got TP down there. I'm going to take some profit off, stick it in the bank, do a little bit of drawdown control on these yens. Everything else on my portfolio on H1M5 is absolutely fine at the moment. These yens are the things that have been killing me. And I'm just waiting for them to do something. And it looks like we are. So I'm going to hold it because I want to make some money out of it. This month at the moment is at flat. We're on the 6th of the month and I haven't banked anything yet. So I want to see if I can hold it to get some movement out of it. But we'll see. So that's the main news this morning so far. If we get a drop today on the CAD, for any reason, and we get a drop on the US for any reason, there's a good chance that that money will get pumped into the yen. So there's a good chance that we might get some strength on the yen this afternoon if we can get negative CAD numbers at 115, and if that CAD drops off of the press conference or it drops off of the rate announcement, there's a good chance we might be seeing 150, 200 ADR on the yen. Especially if the CAD drops and the US drops, obviously that's going to drop this as this powers up, which gives this twice as much movement, which is good. So there's a good chance we might get a decent move on it today. So I'm holding. I'm tempted to take the profit on some of this because I've got a lot of money on the table at the moment. Got sort of $1,500 riding at the moment, which is around about 3%. So it's a fair decent amount of cash, which will, if I can bank 2.5% a week, that's 10% a month. If I bank 10% a month, that pays the mortgage and everything. So, there's mortgage money sitting in open profit at the moment, but I've been holding this for such a long time. I want to get paid on it. So if you look at what we're expecting after the market decides, we do want now to buy the yen. Yeah, look where we are. Look what we've got. I'm being pretty conservative, I think, here. Just looking for a 38 retracement on that leg. I think we've got a much bigger retracement possibility, 50% plus, which brings us down to here. But I'm not getting greedy. So I'm holding at the moment, though. See what happens. Right, let's have a look at ADRs and everything. So to see if the DAX has moved. We're long on the DAX. Well, I'm long on the DAX. So FTSE, I'm out and flat. Long DAX. See if we can get a push up to the high from yesterday, or high. Well, that's higher today. That's pre-market high, basically. So higher yesterday is up here, which is 2.5R. But again, indices today, I'd be very surprised if we get a big move on anything today ahead of the CAD rate. No one's going to want to do anything before CAD rate. So We'll see what happens. So we'll have a look at ADRs, US dollar yen. Let me just catch up on the chat. Morning, everybody else. It's time. Steve, Leshy. If you are not in CAD, will you stay out because of the upcoming major news? I am in CAD. I'm always in everything. Up to you. If you take any trade you take today, any trade, this is true every single day basically. Any trade you take today on the US dollar, the pound, or the Canadian dollar, you're flipping a coin. Yeah, you might as well flip a coin. You got as much chance of being right or wrong. Yeah, because it doesn't matter what you do. There is nothing. This is what moves the market. Yeah, fundamentals. The market moves on economics. Economics is fundamentals. Fundamentals move the market. They decide the direction of the move and they decide the strength of the move. Yeah, based on the numbers. So I don't care what anybody says about technical analysis. I love technical analysis, but it's got absolutely bugger all to do in market movement when the Canadian dollar rate changes. Yeah, you can say, look at this. This is a resistance line. And on the daily chart, every time we've hit this line for the past 25 years, it's bounced. If the Canadian rate changes to a positive at that point, that means absolutely nothing. It's going through it at a rate of knots. Yeah. So anything you do today on any instrument that has news out will either go up or down based on the news and the market's required movement of direction. Yeah. So flip a coin. The odds are 50-50. It's either going to fly up or it's going to fly down, or it's going to whipsaw and go absolutely nowhere. Those are the three things that are going to happen today. I can guarantee with 100% certainty one of those three things is going to happen. No one on the planet can tell you which one, though. So any trade you take is up to you. If you get a setup, if I get a setup today on, let's say, CAD yen, there you go, perfect. So let's say I'm not on the CAD yen, which I'm not, right? We've got an H1 RSI extension downside. So if you're trading 70-30 RSI extensions, yeah, and you've got a setup down here, take it long because it's a setup. What's going to happen today? The CAD's going to rally, you're going to take the profit, or the CAD's going to drop and you're going to scale into your position. That's all that's going to happen. So take the trade. The odds of you taking the trade today and it working are the same as the odds of you taking a trade today with or without news. Yeah, the news is going to help you or it's not going to help you. If it doesn't help you, you scale into the position. If it does help you, you get out of the position. You haven't got any control over the market. But if you're worried about the news affecting your trade, don't trade. However, what do you need to make money? Movement. What happens on news? Movement. Is today a good day to be trading the CAD? Yeah, because it's going to move. It's how we make money. Market movement. When the market's flat, as we know, it's bloody hard to make money. Because if stuff doesn't go up and down, you can't get in and out. So, I wish I was currently in a trade. Press a button, Leshy. Somebody pick a pair for Leshy. Somebody pick a time frame for Leshy. And someone pick a direction for Leshy. Leshy, go and press the button. And then just manage that position. Pound Swiss is moving, is it? Yeah, Pound Swiss is off to the upside. This is Swiss franc weakness by the looks of things. Maybe not. This is euro and pound strength. Yeah, this is pound strength mainly. Look at the pound. So you can see by the euro pound, the euro is rallying at the moment and the pound is rallying at the moment. But the pound is rallying twice as much as the euro. So this is just euro and pound strength coming in at the minute. So I suspect this is just money coming into the pound ahead of the budget. So they're just buying into the budget, basically, I guess, or it's just an order coming in. Yeah, bit of a strong move coming in on the pound at the minute. Right, so ADRs today. Euro, US dollar is the only ADR. So this is basically off the back of that news event that we had the announcement they had this morning with the potential interest rate change. So we're looking for the Japanese to move from negative interest rates up to flat interest rates for the first time in 7 years. They've been hinting at it now for a few months, and they've just basically said, off we go. So hasn't happened yet. So it's a buy the rumor, sell the news. Yeah. So it's, well, in this case, it would be buy the rumor, buy the hell more when the news comes out. But at the minute, obviously, every time we get any mention from the Japanese of interest rate change, the market spikes, it buys it, because we're waiting for them to do it. When they do it, they are going to do it, and we are going to fly. So it's a case of just knee-jerk reaction at the moment. But we need to see if this is a knee-jerk reaction that they are going to continue to maintain or not. So if you're going to take, I'm not longing anything against the yen personally at the moment. Yeah. So all my EAs are set to short only. Yeah. Not going long on the yen. On hedging I am, but on the other accounts, I'm not interested in going long on the yen. So if you want to take it, you can take it, and you'd be looking for a push potentially back up into there. So it's going to be either a V-shaped recovery, i.e. it's a rumor, it's not going to happen, or it's, yeah, looks like it's happening. That's what's going to happen. So either you're going to get into it and you're going to get straight out, or it's going to start to drop and you're going to have to ride the wave and get back out later. But we've been waiting for such a long time for this yen move to kick in. I just can't bring myself to buy. So it is an ADR reversal. M5 reversal alert is about to go in off of ADR, but I wouldn't personally take it. So that's all you've got on ADRs today. I wouldn't imagine you're going to get any other ADR hits today, because obviously we're waiting for the Canadian news and we're waiting for non-farm at 1:15. So there's nothing on the weeklies so far. We're on Wednesday. Nothing's hit its weekly range. We're too early in the month to get to monthlies. So nothing else to look at there at all, really. RSIs, we've got 2. US dollar yen we've just looked at. So that's just triggered a 70 extension on the hourly. It's pinged straight back off again. So we'll see if that one continues. And the CAD yen as well. Obviously, that's an RSI extension below the 30. Based off the same move. So the CAD yen and the US dollar yen will do pretty much the same thing. Interesting thing here is that the CAD yen is now put in bearish market structure. So with that move today, we have actually broken that low. So it just shows you how strong that yen is starting to power up to. It's building strength, which is good. We've been waiting for a long time, and we knew it was coming because they can't sustain the 150 level. It just doesn't make economic sense. So they've got to do something about it. The market's not willing to push it any further because they know it's coming back down again. So, so those two basically are your hourlies. 4 hourly, the only thing we've got is pound CAD, which is getting even more extended because we're having another little rally. So nicely extended there. You've got bearish divergence. You've got kind of triple bearish divergence here. Look, almost could call it quadruple, but it's not. So that 75 level, basically we are flat. We've hit that 75 level 3 times. We've made new highs every time. So market pushing on relative weakness, basically, meaning that at some point, these moves are all just going to undo, basically. So that's a good looking short opportunity on the pound CAD at the moment. Obviously, today could be the day. Yeah, they could rally the crap out of the CAD. I doubt it. I very, very, very much doubt it. But could happen. So with the rates today, what will happen at 2:45 is we will get probably either one of 2 things happening, which is the usual thing on a rate announcement that is expected. You get the push, and then you sit and wait for the press conference at 3:30. Then the press conference comes, and during the press conference, you get volatility. And then when the press conference finishes, the market decides its direction. Or you just get a whipsaw off of the actual rate announcement because we know what it's going to be. So it's just the market using that time to put volume in, and just get orders executed because there's a load of volume available. And then we wait for the press conference. And when the press conference is over, we know which direction we should be going. And after that press conference, we either get a hint or we don't. That's basically what happens at news. So this is where the key move is. So that 3:45 to 4 o'clock point is where you actually get the proper move starting for the session. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with that this afternoon. But there's your ADRs, there's your RSIs. Hot water on the hedging account. Look, woo. Thanks, 8.5% for the month, but blimey, that's in some drawdown. I wasn't paying enough attention last year to the account to actually see what it went into, but there's some serious drawdown. Pound Swiss is the main thing. Look, the Swiss franc. So the Swiss franc makes up 15% of that. Euro Swiss and Pound Swiss. Got no longs on it. See, I've already taken the profit on the long. So we'll get some pullback on that. It's only 1.25 ADR away, so it's not 225 ADR away on that one. Just about to get a new reversal alert today, though, so we'll be taking another position short on that. Yeah. This is why I only put a small amount of money in this account. Scary. In fact, what I might do is I'm toying with the idea basically of going back to using the actual set file because it had automated drawdown control. I'm finding this very difficult to manage. I've got too much on. So I might put automated drawdown control on this. I want to get this back down to a level that is comfortable though, because if I turn automated drawdown control on now on this, it's just going to shut about a third of that out and take a huge loss. So I'm just waiting for some of these moves to kind of unravel a little bit, and then I'll put a automated DD control on that because I can't be bothered to manage it, to be honest. But yeah, 20% for the month now on my new EA. Liking it. DAX long break just at 1R now. Could we actually get 2 winning trades out of the DAX and the FTSE in the same morning? Do you also bank only a quarter, 0.025% if it works from the first entry? I almost find the obvious support. Bank whenever you think, basically. I don't look at money. So that pound odd, for example, there, I look at a trade for the trade. Yeah, so that's a short entry on the H1 RSI extension. My TP is there. Yeah, I have no idea how much money that is. It doesn't come into the equation. It's $87, so it's not even 0.25%. At the moment, I mean, normally I would be looking to bank more, but at the moment, with the market being so tight and restricted at the moment, I'm just trying to bank money when I can get money. But yeah, just bank at levels. So for me, that would be the obvious spot for a decent move to bounce. But there's a potential for a 50% retracement. If we're going to continue market structure, yeah, we could pull back 50, pull back, and carry on. Yeah, there's no point in targeting that, is there? If it's going to continue its current market structure, it's not going to get much further than that. In fact, at the moment, it's done a 38 retracement. It looks like it's already bouncing. So target areas of support and resistance. This is where traders go wrong all the time. I've said it in here many times before. Most systems and strategies out there will teach you to use risk reward in trading. Yeah, it doesn't work. Think about it. It can't possibly work, can it? Yeah. If you have a trade, so for example, let's say you're going long here. right? In a bearish mean reversion market. Yeah, where's this going next? If this is going to continue in a market structure bearish. Yeah. So if you get into a trade here long and you put your stop loss there and you need a minimum of 2R, right? You got to get out up there. So what you actually need is this to be the point in the last 2 to 3 weeks where the market structure shifts long. What's the chances of that happening? Not a lot. Market's much more likely to continue doing what it's doing. It's much harder for the market to shape. Think of us a freight train, yeah, going in one direction. It's a hell of a lot harder to turn that train around and go the other way than it is to carry on going. It's what markets do. This is what market structure is all about. Yeah, trends. So if you go long there, and you've got to get up to there, that's quite hard to achieve. You're looking for a 78 retracement on a leg. Most of the time I do a 38 to a 50% retracement, maybe a little bit more. So I would target this area here because this is an area we've bounced at twice, which was a previous resistance twice. So that is the most likely point we will move from. I don't care what the risk reward ratio on that is. I don't use risk reward, obviously, because I don't use a stop. But that's where I would target because that's more likely where price is going to get to. Do I want to be right and make money, or do I want to be glorious and have a 2R on my trade? It's irrelevant, isn't it? All these people that are posting charts of, hey, look at this 15-to-1 trade I just got. Yeah, but what about the other 65 trades you lost 1R on that you haven't told us about? Yeah, it looks good. But how often do you get that? Relevant. Take the money where the money is available. Where's the market going? That's what I target. And I get what the market gets. If you see a massive move, if I targeted here, for example, right, and we put a whacking great candle in like that, I would see that and go, this looks like it might be the turning point. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take that away and I'll put it back up there and we'll have a go. Yeah. And I'll see what happens with price. You adapt. You've got to be able to do that. It's just not, you can't just target a specific R ratio or percentage return on your account. I like to bank anything that gets to 1/4 to 0.5%. That's all. Morning, Kennelly. You know what you're doing, but that DD would drive me to drink. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, Franco, with this account. This is the first year I've run this account, this strategy. Not this one, this one. The only reason I'm running this account is because we ran this on demo last year and it made a 150% return. So I thought I'll stick some money into that. I know the drawdown has been up here many times. It doesn't make it any more comfortable. This is why I didn't trade the hedging strategy, and I don't like trading the hedging strategy because it's really uncomfortable to trade. It's not me. Some people love it. There's people trading H1M5, trading the M5 mean reversion strategy on the website. They love it. I can't bear it. It drives me nuts. It's just out of my comfort zone. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a different level of comfort. This is not me. I hate this strategy. I hate it. It's banked a load of money, which is great, but I just don't like it at all. So we'll see. I'm half expecting it, to be honest, to blow the account. Because I'm not, but equally I'm like, but it did it like this, this is the thing, but this is what backtesting shows you. We ran this. I've run backtests on this. It's fine. I've forward tested it for 10 months, didn't I? From February last year or April, March or something last year on the way through to December. It doubled the account. So I know it works in forward testing. I know it works in back testing. I still don't like it. It's just one of those strategies that I just think, yeah, it would drive me to drink. But that's why it's only got a small allocation of funds, because it's kind of not throwaway money, but it's also not going to hurt me if it goes wrong. Did you manage to fix the issue with the EA? Fix the issue with the EA. What's that? Oh, there was. Oh, you talking about the new EA? No, there's no issue. That backtest was just terrible. Horrible set file. Yeah. No, those results were correct. So yeah, back to the drawing board. Basically, I'll release it next year. There's a terrible set file. Yeah, just didn't work. Hideous squeeze in the pound US dollar in 2015. Wouldn't have got out of it. Would have lost half its money. So yeah. But I'm just looking for set files, basically. So that's not one to use because it would have burnt the account. I need to do some more testing. Why don't you target just the 1 week high where there is a previous high? For a start, because I'm short. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean, RRR? Good name, RRR. Why don't I target the 1 week high? Well, so if you're going long here, yeah, you could target. Well, it's the 1 week high there. You mean, or there? That's the 1 week high. That's the last week's high. That's last month's high. That's yesterday's high. I don't understand what you mean. R's are for pirates. R. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with risk-reward ratio if you are targeting a risk-reward ratio that is achievable. Yeah. So, don't get me wrong. Risk-reward, I can't even say it. Risk-reward works. The problem is people don't take risk-reward that is possible. So let's say, for example, you took that short with a stop there and you need a 2R. You're basically saying, I am expecting a double bottom bounce. Quite possible. But if you are using a strategy that has a stop up there, all of a sudden your 2R is down there, it's not going to happen. It might do, but the chances of that happening are a lot less than that happening because it's got to get through a major area the market has bought from twice. So if you're taking trades where your risk-reward ratio puts your target within a very easy to reach level for price, there's nothing wrong with it. The problem is people don't do that. People take every trade they see with the same risk-reward ratio, not realizing that there's absolutely no chance price of getting anywhere near your target. That's where it goes wrong. Which is why mean reversion strategies that use 1.25 to 1.5R work really, really well, because it's really easy to get a quarter to a half R return with mean reversion because you get a very high strike rate. Have you been making withdrawals from the hedging account? No. No. That's not, I'm not going to withdraw from it. The idea is to grow it. It's a holiday fund. Not that one, this one. So the idea was to try and use it to pay for a holiday, which is 15 grand. So, but I've already booked my holiday anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Right, that's all I've got for you today, really, for this morning anyway. Can you share MQL signal link? No, haven't got one. I'm not a signal service. So yeah, so I'll be back this afternoon at 2 o'clock, 2:30, and we'll trade the CAD interest rate. So anything basically that you've got on profit-wise, just make sure you pay attention to what's coming up today and just bank before the news. Yeah. You don't have to bank, obviously, I do, but or at least maybe break even before the news so you don't go into drawdown on stuff. Yeah. So have I learned the hard way managing a trade after you press the button is how you make money? It is. Seems obvious, but it is. Everybody that ever told me to trade any strategy always told me to do one thing, which was press the button, place your stop, place your take profit, and never touch it. Which is great if you've got a strategy which works all the time, but you haven't. So you can't do that. You have to be adaptive. You have to adapt to market conditions. Every strategy that you ever run in any backtest doesn't pay any attention to news events, for example. So if you've got a pound odd short on at the moment, and this gets down to here, and your target is there, and we're just about to have the pound have its interest rate announcement, you take the money. Yeah, you can't just let things run. You have to press buttons after you've pressed the button to make sure that you make money. AZ, did you manage to fix the issue with the EA? Sorry if you answered that. Yes, I did answer it. There was no issue. What target settings do you have in your set files since you are taking profit manually? All 0? Yep. So all I use the EA for is entering positions and scaling in. I manually set all targets because that's how I trade. But you can use whatever you want. 0.25%, 0.5%, ADR, half an ADR. There is no right or wrong because I don't know where it's going. Neither do you. Finally can catch a stream. Afternoon, morning even, Daniel. When the time comes, the process of going flat on the hedging account for withdrawal should be an interesting one. Yeah. That's something I didn't do last year because on that demo account, I didn't actually go flat on it. It was sitting in about 15% of drawdown at the end when I just shut all the trades down, basically. Shut the demo. So, yeah, it will be. So basically, the process of going flat will be stopping the hedges, basically. So for example, on Aussie dollar CAD, the way that I would do it is we've got long on there and we've got shorts on. So close out those longs. Worth banking, is it? Close out those longs and then set the EA to short only. And then just basically get out of the shorts when the market pulls back on any leg. Or take a break even on it, you know, sort of thing. So just basically just scale it down so that it stops taking new trades. The idea is to try and double it, basically. So is that all account history? Yeah. It's done 8.5. So I'm roughly halfway. So roughly halfway to doubling it, which I would expect to take, you know, a good 6 to 10 months. But last month was obviously very, very good. We did over 30% last month. So if it can do 90% in 3 months, I shall have it. Morning, Johannes. Did I miss anything? Yep, the entire stream. I'm just about to go because I've been on since 8 o'clock. So basically, just keep your eyes peeled on the yen today. It's pulling back. Look, I'm not convinced. But anyway, we'll see. So yeah, I'll be back this afternoon, obviously, when all the news is coming out. So we'll have a look at the non-farm employment change figure, see what that's done to the US. We'll have a look at the budget. And obviously, we will be on for the Bank of Canada. And then we will see how it's going. Don't forget to hit the thumb, everybody. There's 83 people in here. I should have at least 41.5 likes. Just going to check up on you before I go. 31 is not enough. We need at least 41 in here. Hit the thumb before you go, everybody. So was the set file shite? Yes. Well, no, the set file is still brilliant. That year was terrible. It was a huge squeeze in the pound US dollar, which went on for 3 months. Basically that was what it was. I mean, this is the trouble with set files, isn't it? There isn't a set file that works all the time. You're always going to get a set file that goes. Your job is to manage it. So I need to test it on. I've got to do loads more testing, basically. Put it that way. Okay, so I'll be back this afternoon at 2:30. We'll watch the Canadian dollar unravel, and then we'll see how we go from there. But don't forget to bank anything ahead of the news. All right. So have a good morning. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Telegram or Discord. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.